I'm trying to pour more into another person, but I didn't have anything to pour from. My cup was empty. I wasn't replenishing it. So how in the world can I breathe life into somebody else when I don't have life? Hey y'all, I know it's been a while, but I'm back and I wanted to share a lesson that I learned yesterday. I was half asleep, half awake, but I was getting the nudge to write, to go downstairs and write. And I'm just like, Lord, you know how early it is. Why am I writing so early? Like, can't I sleep? Because I was tired. But I ended up following the urge and going downstairs to write. But before I got the urge, I had been brought back to a situation that happened like when I was around about second grade. My grandfather and I, and let me tell you this before I start, I loved my grandfather. I still do, but he's not here with us. But I loved him. He was like one of my favorite people. So we were in a store and there was a new movie that had hit the shelves and I wanted it. So I was asking for it. I'm like, yo, this would make me so happy. And I remember what he had said. He had given me a choice. You can have this movie or I can quit smoking. Which one do you want? Of course, me being a kid and me really wanting the movie, even though I knew that smoking wasn't necessarily good for you, I'm like, he been smoking since I've known him. Movie, please. I chose the movie. I remember getting it and us leaving out the store and I was like on cloud nine. I'm like, nothing is about to bring me down. We about to go back and watch this movie and it's going to be an awesome day. It's already awesome because I got the movie. And like a few months later, he ended up dying and his cause of death was linked back to cigarettes. He had lung problems and lung issues, and it was all due to him smoking. One of the things that I gathered from that event was that my decisions carry weight, right? My decisions are like life or death. And that is how heavy they are. So I really got to be careful on what I do, especially when I'm making decisions based on my wants, right? I really have to make sure that this is something that not only I want, but is it good for everybody else? And so slowly but surely, I started placing other people's needs and other people's wants and other people's desires and what would make them happy, what would make them proud in front of my own, in front of what would make me happy, in front of what I truly wanted. The more and more I did that, the more and more I disappeared when I was writing. So this is the beautiful thing about writing, right? And this is why I encourage it, is because a lot of times when we're writing, if we're just allowing ourselves to go, there are connections that can be made without us even thinking about it. This is what happened when I sat down. I sat down on my computer and just started writing, or typing, you say. I just started typing away. And one of the things that I had realized was that was, me people pleasing, me wanting other people to be happy over myself, and me placing other people's needs and desires and wants and all that in front of me. That was linked back to that occurrence. And I didn't know that. I never knew that. I knew that was something that weighed heavy on my heart, because I remember when he died and I remember finding out the reason behind his death, and I blamed myself for it. And there were so many questions. There were so many things that were in my head of just like, well, what if you would have chose differently? Why didn't you just do what was best for him? Why would you choose that over your grandfather, over somebody that you loved? His health, you knew that this was good for him to stop. Why wouldn't you do that? And so I blamed myself and I looked at myself as the cause to his death. And so that was something that I had experienced. And this is the thing about trauma. We experience it, it unfolds wherever it does. But then because of the pain that it causes, we kind of sometimes run away from it. And so we spend our lives, we're running away from experiencing that pain again, But a lot of times what I see is that it just becomes a cycle, and you running away from it, you actually run into it. If there is anything that I have learned, that is one of the major things. Whatever it is that you're running away from, that you're avoiding, that you're afraid of, if you spend time running away from it, what actually happens is that you run right into its arms. You run right there, and you end up recreating some facet of that pain that you did not want to experience. And you wonder, like, how did I even get here? Why, like, I was avoiding that. I didn't want that to happen. This was the last thing that I wanted, and it actually happened. What, I must be cursed, or something like we blame it on so many different things, but it's actually the fact that you never faced it. That's the only way that you can really break free of that cycle and not recreating it, is actually facing the thing that you fear, facing the thing that you're avoiding, facing the thing that you're running away from, and facing it head on, no matter how uncomfortable it may be, because you got to look at it like this. That's what I was doing. I was carrying this baggage. I was carrying this trauma, which is a bag, right? I've got weight that is hooked on me, and I'm running as fast as I can to get away from it. But every time I stop, I look back and I see that it's still here, and I'm wondering, why are you still here? I've been running away from you for years. Why are you still showing your face? But it's because it has been attached to me this entire time. If you're running with a bag that's attached to you, you can run 1,000,000 miles, and guess what? When you stop, it's still there. But if I just turn around and I say, you know what? You've traveled with me long enough, and I no longer want you here. And I cut the bag, and then I start running, or I start walking. Guess what? As I go a mile, as I go 2 miles, if I stop, it's not there anymore. That's one of the things that I didn't do. I carried this weight. I carried this guilt. I carried this shame, and I blamed myself for his death. And what ended up manifesting is not that I caused somebody else's physical death, but what I did see is that I caused my own death. The person that I used to be, the person that was alive, the person who did what she wanted, the person who pushed limits, the person who didn't care what other people thought of her, who just did what made her happy. The more and more I placed other people in front of me, the more I buried her. I ended up getting to a point where I would look in the mirror and I didn't even know who was staring back at me. I didn't know anything about her other than what she looked like. I didn't know what she liked, what she wanted to do, what made her happy, what made her feel alive. I forgot. I didn't know anymore. And that was something that I carried. What did I say? This incident happened when I was like in 2nd grade. And here I am into my 30s, and it's still there. I'm still carrying this weight, and it's manifesting in the fact that now I'm in my 30s and I don't know who I am anymore. So that's one of the things that as I was writing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that it was linked to this. That's a big reason as to why I've been doing what I've been doing and placing other people before me. I have wanted so desperately for people to be proud of me, for people to be happy, for people to look at me and just say, oh, wow, you're doing a good job. And maybe that would increase their love for me. Maybe I would be wanted more and just feel more worthy of things and feel like I have value and this, that, and the other. And I'm finding it in totally the wrong places. But I sought to control that aspect, and I wanted that. So I bent over backwards. I would put people in front of me, and I thought that that was the key to actually, them being happy, because I didn't want to make that mistake again. I didn't want to choose my wants or my needs in front of somebody else's and it be detrimental, right? So I didn't want to face that pain again. I've spent so much time doing that. And it wasn't until I think recently, maybe like a year ago, that I realized all my efforts are in vain. No matter how much I did, no matter how much I bent over backwards, no matter how much I I excelled in school, no matter how much I did, no matter how straight of a path I stayed on, it did not matter. One of the things that I learned was that I can't control anything outside of me. I can't control what other people think. I can't control what other people feel. I can't control their happiness. I can't control their joy. I can't control that. My actions have nothing to do with how another person feels and will continue to feel. So me doing all these things and because of that, because I want to make somebody else happy, that was just wasted time and wasted energy. And what I did realize is that all this time I've been seeking to make other people happy, the real person that I should have been concerned about making happy was me, because I matter. My desires matter, my wants matter, my needs matter. All of me matters. And for so long, I've been treating myself as if, girl, you go ahead and stay right here. These people come before you. You don't matter. You aren't worthy. You aren't valuable enough, or you don't have value unless somebody else sees value in you. And that's how I've been treating myself for so long. And then to find out that all of my efforts were just in vain. That was a repeated cycle. I would do that and I would excel. I would do different things. And I'm like, hey, look at me. Aren't you proud of me? Oh, I'm valuable, right? Oh, I'm smart, right? And all it would do is just leave me frustrated. It would leave me overwhelmed. It would leave me overworked. It would leave me upset because it didn't change things. And if it changed things for a little bit, it may have been a little bit of time that it did change, but for the long run, it didn't. So for that little bit of time, I would get this little high, right? It's like, yay, I have value. And then turn back around and I have to work again to be able to get that feeling and to be able to feel that again. It was just wasted time and energy. So just to find out that I did all this stuff for no reason was just a hard pill for me to swallow, but it was truth. The person that I should have been concerned about making happy was me. As I was writing, this was all coming out. And then it brought me to, and I'm on an airplane and the flight attendant is going through what you need to do in case of emergency. One of the things that we all know is that when it comes to the oxygen mask, whose mask do they tell you to put on first? They tell you to put on yours. And there's a reason behind that. It's because you aren't going to be of help to anybody if you aren't alive. You have to be alive to be able to help, to be able to be of assistance to other people and to help them be alive too and stay alive. This whole thing applies to everyday life. Me placing other people's needs and their desires in front of my own, what happened is that I ended up killing myself in order for someone else to then be alive. But it doesn't work that way because, like I said, it was only for a brief moment, if at all. And then we were right back to square one. And then I'm trying to pour more into another person, but I didn't have anything to pour from. My cup was empty. I wasn't replenishing it. So how in the world can I breathe life into somebody else when I don't have life? I have to be alive. And the way that I become alive and I stay alive is to pay attention to what it is that I like. Pay attention to my wants. Pay attention to my desires. Pay attention to what my soul and my heart is wanting and listening to it and honoring it. In honoring myself, I honor everyone else. One of the examples came to my mind as I was writing, and I thought of two different people, right? So, and I want you to think about them too. So we've got one person, let's say Bob over here, okay? Bob has been on the straight and narrow path for all his life. He has sought to make his parents and his family proud. In fact, he does. They gush over him all the time. They sit there and tell their friends and their other family members how great of a child he was and how great of an adult he is, what he's doing. He's a I'll say he's a doctor, right? He followed his parents' footsteps and what they wanted for him, and he became this doctor. He's doing great. He's flourishing. He's out here, and he is doing everything like they thought that he should. But when you meet Bob, he's not happy. He's not happy with where he is. He's not happy with his life. He feels he should be doing something different, but he's staying here because it makes everyone else happy. And then we have Sally over here, who continually and consistently pushes the limit. She is like, I don't care. I'm going to do me. I am going to be me. I love me. And she is unafraid of people's thoughts, their opinions, what they have to say. She could care less. She does her own thing, and she moves to the beat of her own drum. And when you meet her, she is in love with life. She's in love with what she does. She loves who she is and who she's becoming. She has an unfettered joy and appreciation for life. So we compare those two people, and we meet both of them. Which one would motivate you more? Which one would motivate you and inspire you to step out of your comfort zone, to actually bring to the world what it is that God has placed inside of you, your special sauce? Which one would inspire you to now dip into and like, look, I need to figure out what is inside of me because I want to bring it out into the world. I know Sally over here would motivate me, but that person is alive. That person is alive. She is fully living and breathing and is active and aware and participates in her life and what it is that she wants. She honors herself first. And because she honors herself first, she in turn honors me because she brings to the world everything that God has placed into her. And so now when you're fully doing that and you're fully invested in what it is that you love, what it is that you want, and you're listening and taking heed to what it is that your body and your soul and your mind and your heart is telling you, then you are that much more equipped to now breathe life and to give to others. And that's what Sally over here is doing. Just being in her presence, just her essence would motivate me. That inspired me to then look up the definition of alive. What it was defined as is active and alert. But a lot of us are going through life on autopilot, doing what Bob did. We're either following the path that it was already designed for us by our family members, by our mother, by our father, by what other people want to see for us, what other people have seen in us, and they're like, oh, you would be really good at that. You should do this. Even though your gut, even though your soul is telling you something totally different, you're still following that path. You're following what you think is going to make you the most money, what you think is going to make you happy because somebody else has done that same thing, even though you're not feeling that way. We're making these moves on autopilot. And we're not fully there. We're not fully aware. We're not an active participant. But then we've got Sally over here who is. She's active. She's participating in her life. She's participating in her choices. She is fully aware and fully present. And that is why I said she is alive. And when a person is fully alive, they can now breathe life into other people. They can inspire them and they can make more change in other people in the world. They can make more impact than they could have ever done by being on autopilot, by placing other people's needs and their wants and their desires in front of their own, by people pleasing. You do more by honoring yourself. So that's one of the things that I came to as I was writing. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to be alive. I want to do what it is that my heart, my soul is screaming that I want to do. I want to do the things that make me happy. And I don't really, it sounds, even with me saying this now, because y'all know I'm still working through this, right? But it sounds, to the ear bad, but I really don't care. I don't care what other people think. I don't care how it makes them feel. I don't care how they take it. What matters is me. What matters is my happiness. What matters is my joy. What matters is that I am fully enjoying the life that I am living, because nobody else is going to live it for me. Nobody else is going to have these experiences but me. So why not make my life the fullest that it can possibly be? Why not make it the most joyous experience that I can possibly have? And I know that in doing that and in honoring it, I am doing the best that I can possibly do for the rest of the world. When I consistently feel and pour into my cup, guess what happens? Is that after a while, even if I'm not intentionally pouring into other people, my cup is going to start running over. It's going to be spilling out. People are just going to get it just because you're around me. I don't even have to intentionally pour into you. You're just going to get it just by being in my mere presence. That's how I want it to be. I have to consistently pour into me. That means I have to honor myself first. So that's one of the things that I came to. And I'm like, okay, it's time for me to cut the bag. It has been traveling with me for far too long. It has been holding me back. It has not allowed me to go as fast and make as much impact as I want to make, because I'm being held down by all this weight. So it's time to go. It's time to cut it loose. I'm cutting it. It's a great time to be alive. I want this month to be something different. You do things different, whether it's you thinking different, intentionally thinking different, whether you're making movements different, whether you're going to start honoring yourself more this month, whatever it may be, whatever you have defined or you have seen that has held you back, it's time to cut that bag, right? It's time to cut that bag or those bags. And now, how do you want to proceed forward? I know for me, I want to be that person that's alive. I want to be that person that just inspires people just by me merely being. Not by me speaking, not by me having to physically do something. I wanted to just be my very essence that just motivates you, because you know I am truly living authentically to me. So I'm going to leave you with this. Like I said, I had to cut my bag. I had to cut my bags, and there's still some bags I need to cut, right? We're going to talk about those things, because I'm telling you, this past month was full of lessons. So this is not going to be the only video that you get from me. So we got a lot more stuff to go through, but it's time to cut the bag or bags that you've been holding, right? It's time to let go of that trauma, of that pain that you have been running away from, that you've been avoiding, that you've been fearful of. It's time to face it. It's time to face it, cut those bags, and let go of the fear of what other people may think and you walking on eggshells through life. It's time for you to truly be alive. I want to see you, be everything that God has created you to be. You are a shining light. We've been dimming it for too long. It's time to bring that sucker out, dust it off, and allow your light to shine as brightly as it can possibly be. Okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be working on. That's what I'm going to be working on. And I hope that you're going to be working on your bags. If this resonated with you, if you got anything from it, if there is anything that stood out to you that you can apply to your life, then do me a favor and everybody else a favor and share it. Share it with somebody who you think it would help, who you think would benefit from it. Share it and like, and of course subscribe, because right now, y'all, I don't have a set schedule. Maybe at some point I'll have a schedule, but right now it's about creating content. It's about being here. It's about following what I feel led to do. And at this point right now, I don't have a schedule. I'm just moving. I'm working on just doing and just being and just truly being alive, like we talked about, right? So bear with me on the schedule. We don't have it now. So please subscribe so that you know and you get notified when I drop a video, because I don't want you to miss this. I don't. There are important lessons that I have gotten and I want to share because they've been super helpful to me. And I know, just like I tell y'all, if it's helpful to me, it's going to be helpful to someone else. So that's why I share. So I'm asking y'all to share. Come on now, I'm doing it too. All right. So thank you again. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you for helping me out, y'all. Until next time.